In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 95.
95. No, just as bad lighting on my end as any other episode. I swear I need like another lamp. It's like a $8 to $10 to $15 purchase that I just never make.
Yeah, but also,
Just have
since I
this
moved, my lighting's
desk
been
lamp.
different.
I swear I have this desk lamp here that makes me look like I'm sitting in a tanning bed every episode.
Yeah. Alright, so, the NFL season is on its last legs. We're preparing for playoffs.
Its last yet longer leg.
Yep. So, let's see the playoff picture right now.
Yeah, so this is before games had started for today.
Yeah.
Taking into account the games that happened yesterday being Saturday night games, the Chiefs game and the Eagles Cowboys game.
Yep.
So now we have the Chiefs right back where they were in previous years. Some surprise only because of how they started this year.
Yeah, that was the bigger surprise of how they started.
But that's also kind of what leads you as a sports fan to know when is too early to worry and when is not. Because we've all seen teams that just turn it around. We've all seen the Raiders, start 7-0 or 7-1 and then not make the playoffs entirely. So like you know when there's still time for a year to be a fluke.
Yeah, but for me, it's like when you're starting to get to like 6, 7, 8 losses and you still have most of the season left, I'll start to get worried if I'm vying for my team to have a playoff spot.
Yeah, and also on the other end of it, when you know that your team isn't very good, like with the Steelers last year, and you're like, it feels like this wall is going to come down at some point. Like it just feels like being 10-0 just doesn't feel right.
Yep.
And then you get walloped by the Browns, which is always what you want to do with your life.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, we have Kansas City, Tennessee up top, Cincinnati, Buffalo, New England, and Indianapolis.
Now, I believe Tennessee was holding a lead in the 1 o'clock game. If they won, I think they were moving into the number one seed
Yeah, I think
for the
so.
AFC. Let's see what happened there. Let's see here. Tennessee held on to win over the Texans 28-25.
Yeah, so they're 12-5 at the moment, so they should have a better conference record too, right?
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, so they should be up.
Because, well, actually, yeah, because they'd be 8-4 in conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for which is their focal point, and then
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, Pittsburgh is they won today, so they're 9-7-1, and
9-7-1, and they make the playoffs unless the Chargers and Raiders game ends in a tie.
Yep.
I'm of the mindset, and I've said this before, that the Steelers probably should not have been trying to make the playoffs this year, but here we are, and I can't wait for them to get their shit stomped in like they did last year. Because they're going to play a team like a Kansas City or like even Cincinnati. I feel like if they go into Cincinnati, they can't guard Boyd and Chase and Higgins, and it's over.
Yep.
This is an early exit. As I call it, it's delaying the inevitable for, a team that probably wouldn't have won the last two games unless it was Ben's last two games.
Yep.
Like it.
I mean, on the NFC side, no surprises really.
Oh, and also the Colts are now out.
Yeah.
because they needed a tie or Baltimore to win or to have won against Jacksonville. Jacksonville being the worst team in the AFC, who
How'd they
pummeled the Colts.
lose?
It wasn't even close until the end.
Yeah.
Like it was 26-3. The Colts got a garbage time touchdown
Oh,
and
okay.
2-point conversion. It was never actually close. But
Okay.
anyway, on the NFC side of things, it's kind of sad to me. Like New Orleans shouldn't have a chance to make it. They've just been so banged up this year.
Don't they make it?
They're in 8th right now.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what it's like because if they win, they technically have the same conference record as the Eagles. I don't know if they played head to head, but
But
let's
aren't
see.
they going against San Francisco?
No, that's the Rams.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's see here. Trying to pull that up. What else you got in the interim?
No, I mean like all the bad teams are still bad. But like I don't know. I think the only interesting one is Pittsburgh is definitely going to make it. So it's really between Las Vegas and Los Angeles who makes the other spot, right?
Yeah, I think at this point it's more of a whoever wins is in, whoever loses is out.
Yep.
But
No
let's
collusion to tie just so Pittsburgh doesn't make it.
I mean, they play in the same division. I feel like it doesn't help.
I know, I know, I know. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's all I got here. So, I mean, we can take a look at some seating possibilities, right?
yeah, I mean, there's a plethora of them because the Packers were the only team going into today that was ready. Um,
Yep.
and other than that, now that Tennessee has won. So, and getting to the Saints have to win against the Falcons, and then the 49ers have to lose to the Rams, and then the Saints get in,
Okay.
which is ridiculous to me.
It could happen.
They played 4 quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, I know.
And like Ian Book, who was the one that they threw out against Miami, was getting absolutely pummeled.
Yeah,
So
I
their
mean,
offensive line
four
isn't
quarterbacks
protecting
though.
anybody.
So, yeah. I mean, out of
It's not
this,
right for
like,
the Eagles to be there either, but like the Eagles at least have a winning record.
but like out of these seeds, right? Like Arizona's probably fifth. I don't think they go to two or second or third.
Why not?
I don't know. I
They
just,
have the tiebreaker over Dallas.
oh, they do.
They beat Dallas head to head.
Okay. But so whoever wins Los Angeles and Tampa Bay gets second, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and the other one will get third or fourth, probably.
I don't like what I don't like how complex this is. This 18th game is really fucking with me.
17th game.
God damn it, Sean. This
Yeah,
extra game is fucking with me.
yeah. Hey, the good thing is nobody can have a 500 record anymore.
Yeah, in terms of percentage points,
Well,
when you
actually,
look
they
at
can with
only
a tie,
when
right?
well, no, because a tie is credited as 50% of a win. So it would
Yeah, but
be 8-1. That's not true.
oh, oh
If you're
God,
looking at only wins and losses, because like,
a tie is technically neither.
see, I don't know what the definitive answer is because nobody in the history of the NFL has actually done that. But like, if they had, actually, would the Ravens be there now? No, the Ravens didn't tie. Ah, fuck. If only the Lions were 8-1.
I mean,
Because
yeah,
they
it's
would be
whatever.
the only fucking other team that tied with the team this year.
Yeah,
If the Steelers lost, I could have given you an answer.
yeah.
Actually, no, they would have been eight
No,
nine and one.
yeah, they would have been 8-9.
I don't like this, man.
Yep.
I swear to God, I'm gonna get thrown back into basic math.
I know the Steelers end 9-7, right? 9-7-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They could have. If they lost, that would have been 8-1 then, right?
Oh, I guess you're right. Well,
So yeah. So here's what the standings could possibly look like.
nine,
So
7, and 1.
yeah. let's
8, 8, and 1.
let's see how fantasy players did this year.
Okay, so yeah, Cooper Cup, who would have thought that guy who's on pace to break the record for having yards in a season was going to lead the way. And let's see, you sent up some links before we started recording on draft position here. And let's see where Cooper Cup actually ended up being at.
Yeah, he was kind of low because I'm pretty sure Devonte Adams was
Okay, so
higher.
Fantasy Pros has him at number 51. And
Yeah, CBS has him at 46, at
yeah.
average of 48.
So ridiculously low for a guy who's going to get potentially to 2,000 yards receiving. Also because he has Matt Stafford as a quarterback, and Matt Stafford loves throwing to wide receiver number one like it's nobody's business because
Yep.
he got Calvin Johnson that same achievement.
Yep.
Josh Allen, because he's dual threat, and probably only because he's dual threat now, and
Yeah.
because the Bills have really no running backs that have stepped up and become the solidified number one. Um,
Yep.
Takes on that one. Justin Herbert, who I had and can tell you that he's also had some dud games, was apparently number three. I would have wished that that was a little bit more in clutch time, but here we are.
Consistent.
Number four being Tom Brady, because when you piss off the goat, goat things happen. Um,
Yeah, and
Jonathan,
we see our
Jonathan
first running
Taylor.
back in Indianapolis is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, his ADP was around 11 on CBS, 10 on Fantasy Pros,
Yeah.
or 9 on Fantasy Pros. I think I got him around 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was huge for a running back to not be in the top three, though, is kind of interesting because normally running backs and wide receivers kind of run the top three. The theory is always that a quarterback can get you the same amount of points in middle rounds.
Yeah, I mean, we've had three quarterbacks in a row, and then at six we have Mahomes. So quarterbacks were really stepping up.
Yeah, but is Mahomes' thing because of
It's because,
this start?
yeah.
And also because of they just love running the ball to any scrub that you've never heard of. I
Yep.
sort of got. I thought Frank Gore's son was playing against the Steelers. It turns out it was Derek Gore. I was like, okay. I think it was far more likely still to be Frank Gore's son, but who knows? Because Frank Gore's son's that doesn't really matter because only the last name is on the jersey, but is Frank Gore.
Yeah. Any surprises in this top 20 or letdowns?
I'm still kind of surprised with Joe Burrow, but now that we've seen how he utilizes receivers, I'm no longer surprised. Um, I am a little bit surprised with Jalen Hurts being up there though, because of
Yeah.
how inconsistent the Eagles have been,
Yeah.
and the fact that he didn't play last night. Um, it's a little bit of an interesting one, and yeah, I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that Joe Mixon is as low as he is. Because with that offensive line and how they spread out the wide receivers, you would have thought that Mixon would get the ball a lot
Yeah.
because it would have been a distraction away from what was going on. But I guess, strange things happen.
Definitely.
What surprises you?
I mean, I didn't expect to see this many quarterbacks that high. If you include Jalen Hurts in 11, what we had like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight quarterbacks in 11.
Hmm.
I think that overall is more surprising than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
if you told me there were 8 and 15, I'd believe it more.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What's your thoughts? Because I know everybody loves PPR for the points per reception sometimes, but does it piss you off that like guys can have running backs with 40 yards but like 10 catches?
Nah, I mean,
If you're
I just
going
don't know if you
against or
should
not.
like in a PPR league, right? Running backs that catch are more valuable.
Right, which is why Austin Eckler is up on this list.
Right, exactly. And it's just a different game, right? In a non PPR league, you would probably never see Austin Eckler.
Right, and you would hope to. I mean, actually, you probably would because he's still
Well,
the one running back, but it means something else there.
yeah. I mean that like you're not gonna get that 10 catches in one game for 10 points,
Right.
right? So you're not banking on Austin Eckler. You're probably not drafting him as high.
Hmm. But boy, would it be fun.
Yeah, but like again, it's all like a strategy, right? In PPR, you're looking for catches more so than anything else, basically. So the whole dynamic of like a running back changes based on between a non PPR and a PPR league.
You have a point. All right, let's move on. One more here.
Yeah, so you want to move on to the MLB?
Yeah. So, we have no update with the MLB lockout. For the most part, um, it and uh, we were talking in pre recording about this, how the expectation maybe shouldn't be that the MLB and the Players Association are going to move as quickly as they have in prior or in career instances with different sports. Because
Right.
we saw the NHL lockout go into New Year's in 2013, but then uh, we saw a conclusion to that. And a lot of people don't think that the MLB lockout will affect a lot of games, but we are now in January with spring training only, like
2 months?
5 weeks away
Oh, okay.
because pitchers and catchers report in February.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting now because you didn't see a lot of free agency. You saw some splash deals before the fences went up, so to speak. But where do we go from here? And don't get me wrong, of all the sports I'm going to miss, baseball's probably like, if a lockout happened, it's probably because not necessarily because of the NBA, but basketball, football, hockey, and then baseball.
Yeah.
And
I
it's just because baseball brings the least amount of energy to the game.
yeah, I'm gonna be straight up honest, and it's like I literally would only turn a baseball game on if it was the only thing going on.
I mean, yeah, and look, it's not like replacement umpires or something because we saw how bad it was when the NFL had replacement refs.
Yep.
And like the lockout there wasn't necessarily with players, it was more with refs. But I don't know. Like baseball, I feel like can pick up and not really miss a beat.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot different in any other sport.
But also, I think that they don't need a 162 game season or whatever it is anyway.
I think what was great about last year. I don't like the 7 inning double headers
Oh, those are bad.
because like you feel like you're cheated out of a ticket that you bought like a month in advance.
Yeah.
But if they did 9 inning double headers and like had scheduled double headers, that would increase ticket sales because you can charge a fraction more. You can charge 40% more on the ticket, but you get 2 games, and that would be more appealing.
But then
And
you'd also drive concession sales, I guess. But that's all those numbers are.
yeah, but that's a different thing because like having seen a doubleheader before, it was it's a lot of fun because you don't have to leave the stadium right away, and they turn around and play another game within like an hour and 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, Now that being said, The lockout does stand to do better for other teams who aren't always in the postseason. I think one of the big subjects is a salary cap floor,
Yep.
which would be great if that ski resort owning motherfucker out here was required to spend $70 million a year, because you can't actually say that having a $35 million payroll for the year is
Competitive.
yeah. No, it- and then just stand in front of fans and stuff and be like, oh, we believe in being a small market team and this is how we do it and it's proven to work. It's like, yeah, it proves to work for 3 out of 20 years. So
Yeah.
you can't say it's proven. I don't know. That be what do you think is more likely to happen? That we get a cap floor, or that we get a
See, I
a
don't think
market neutral cap ceiling?
I don't think that the owners want, or at least if you're Pittsburgh's owner, you don't want a cap floor.
Yes, but if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you do.
But who's negotiating this? It's the MLB, which is the owners and the MLB and the players, right? Which
Right.
one of them?
But the players would be on the side of a cap floor
No,
because
but
that
they would be
allows
on.
them to get
They
paid
wouldn't
more.
necessarily care about a cap floor. They would care about minimum pay increase, which is completely different.
It's different in the minors, but in the majors, a cap floor means that once you hit free
I know,
agency,
but you're looking at the two sides, right? And if you look, right, a majority of MLB players are not major league players. So objectively looking at it, I don't see a cap floor being a thing. Or at least it's not what either side would be gunning for. They would try to get other things, and if we end up in some sort of cap floor situation, that would be a middle ground. But I don't think that it's something that the players or the owners in the MLB would go for.
unless it is the minors are part of the major league payroll, in which case then the
Yeah, but
players
there's
would
no way the owners
likely.
would do that.
Right. I'm just saying that's the one case where that drives up minimum pay,
Yeah,
because
but again,
a team like the Pirates would be more likely to pay their minor leaguers more so they don't have to pay their major leaguers as much,
I guess.
which is competitive balance within payroll,
Eh,
but not
but
within an
that's
actual
just
skill of a
one
team.
team, right? Like the
Well, it would be the same with Baltimore, with Kansas City. Um,
Royals really are that low?
yeah, in terms of payroll.
Okay.
Tampa Bay,
Yeah, I know. We didn't know about Tampa Bay, but like you have Boston, Yankees,
Miami,
LA, both LAs, or like
Miami.
my that
Miami for low because
no, but
they
like you have
still
I'm
want
talking
to.
about high, right? In like
Yeah,
Boston, New York, either of them, right? You have LA, both of them.
and that's the other thing about this is what's good for the game is competitive balance. And the MLB is the only sports league where they don't care about competitive balance, because they will sing the same song like a band on their retirement tour. It's like, there's not going to be any new songs. You just go for them to play the hits and then you go home. And the MLB is well aware of the fact that it's going to be the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, um, and some of these other teams pretty much every year. And what would drive market value of each team, their fan bases,
But the
overall
thing is,
sales,
who controls the, it's all in the interest of one thing, and that's money, right?
right?
And
And
so competitive
revenue
balance takes a backseat in basically all of this.
Well, it shouldn't,
But it,
because
it
revenue
does.
sharing isn't done right in the MLB either.
but it doesn't. It takes a backseat in all of this, right? The end of the day is who gets more money, or
Yeah,
how do they make more money?
right. But if they were smart, they'd realize that everybody makes more money as a whole if there's competitive balance.
But that's true and not true at the same time.
Well, let's say that, you know, all of a sudden
Because
let's say all of a sudden these teams like the Pirates or the Orioles just their payroll starts shrinking so low, their ticket sales are down so low that at this point they're gonna fold up.
but the
There's
thing
no
is,
point in
right?
them being around.
You have on the opposite spectrum, you have these teams spending so much money, they're paying the soft cap tax, right? And that goes into the pool to basically prop up the teams that are doing nothing.
Okay, but if the MLB shrinks from 30 teams to say 21 teams, let's take all the small market teams out of the equation. Then what happens with those 21 teams?
I
At
mean,
what point is there no small guy to take advantage of?
but the thing is, right? Like if you lose a team, you probably aren't losing a team, you're moving the team. Somebody will buy it. That's what the MLB is banking on.
Yeah, that's where the MLB is banking on. Unfortunately, the thing is,
Somebody will buy it.
The MLB has teams in cities where in other sports leagues they would be considered the relocation. Like when the Penguins were speculated to move, it was to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City already has the Royals. Um, you know, if the Orioles were to move, where would it actually be to? I guess maybe somewhere in North Carolina may be of interest, but North Carolina doesn't really give a shit about baseball.
Right.
So
But like somebody will try.
somebody will try, but you also have to have the monetary resources and the concerted populace to actually appeal to it.
Yeah,
Whereas
but it
a
doesn't
lot of
matter.
those cities are already taken.
It doesn't matter.
All I'm gonna say, there's teams with minor league teams as minor league teams and not major league teams for a reason.
But I mean, like that's another thing. There's so many minors in the MLB that's another issue on both sides.
Oh yeah, you can't have all these leagues. But
Yeah, so
let me ask you. Go ahead.
it's like on one side you have so many teams that paying them more on the lower end in the minors increases your cost so much because you have a single A team, double A team, triple A team, who knows what else, right?
Mhm.
So, and do you really need all of those teams? Like, I'm sorry for baseball players, but like, come on.
Honestly, I'm of the mindset now that there should be a relegation system, kind of like in soccer.
But
If you
that's
don't
not going to
win at
work
least,
because
I
nobody's
know,
going to
but
pay into the
like with
system.
but because you have affiliates within your systems, so like the Pirates have Indianapolis, stuff like that. If you can't outcompete, you know, if you can't compete outside of and like it would have to be long withstanding, not like soccer where it's like the first time you're in the bottom two, you're down. If you spend 2 or 3 years at
But
the
what
bottom of
prevents
the
the Pirates
rankings,
from just firing all the Pirates and buying all the Indianapolis players? Or
relegation.
no, but they're never gonna. The owners will never go for it. Like it doesn't. What you're saying doesn't make sense for them, so it would never come up. They would rather
But
just let
think
the
of
league
how
sink.
appealing it would be.
But it doesn't matter how appealing it would be to us, right? We don't matter.
All right, we have to move on because we can't spend 25 minutes talking about a league where there's been nothing happening.
Yeah. But again, like, but at the end of the day, we as fans don't matter. It's the MLBPA and the MLB and
Well,
the
that's
owners,
what's fucked up because it should matter.
but it doesn't. So
In
go
other
on with your
leagues,
life.
it would. In other leagues, it would matter.
Not really.
Not really.
Anyway,
But,
we're looking at the
you know,
NHL now.
stupid baseball. I fucking hate baseball so much because of the back end stuff.
Anyway, so yeah,
It's bad how fucked up it is.
here's the
It's like
current playoff probability as of yesterday, January
it's
8th.
like putting 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle together of like a cloud.
We are
Like
looking
it's all white.
at NHL playoff percentages right now
Okay. I
as
mean,
of January 8th, which is yesterday.
it is.
So currently, the Rangers have a high shot. The Hurricanes are basically in.
Why don't you tell me about the devil shot, Sean?
Hey, we're up to 5% from the 0.7 we were last time or
You
whatever.
guys lost last night, and didn't Columbus like redo your? Or who did you guys lose to?
Columbus, but we had 6 people on COVID protocol that morning.
That's great. You do know that Columbus also memed your third jersey and with the cursive that just says jersey and put loser on top of it.
Whatever, I really don't care. It's the third
It's
jersey.
a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a horrible jersey too.
Anyway,
It's basically like it. Somebody was like, "Okay, we have this black template of a jersey with the 3 white Adidas stripes. What can we do with this?" And somebody was like, "I don't know. Just put the location on it and let's call it a day."
anyway, yeah, so the Pens, Rangers, Hurricane, and Capitals all have
Does it bother you that the Rangers are good, like out of nowhere? I
not.
get that they made free agent signings, but
They,
like,
they did more stuff than the Devils, like, who am I to care?
all right, what surprises you more, the Rangers being up or the Islanders being this far down?
Islanders being this far down. They
It's
should
a
not
great
be this
thing.
far down. They are
How have
down
they been
bad.
recently? How have they been recently?
Still not that good. It's
They did have the big losing streak.
it's been painful to watch, even in their wins. I'll be honest.
Their last game was on January 1st because of COVID.
Yep.
They won 3-2. Okay, so they did have a 2-game winning streak against the
Finally.
mighty Sabres and the Oilers with McDavid in there.
Yeah, but the Oilers are another
Before that,
problem.
they also have lost to the Red Wings. They lost to the Golden Knights, to the Predators. Dear God, they lose to all the bad teams.
Don't worry.
Did they lose to the Senators too?
Dude, it's bad. Like, you don't want to know.
They barely beat the Coyotes. That's what I saw.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Islanders being that bad is more surprising.
Is it more surprising that they're worse than you guys?
Oh yeah. Wait,
By
what?
7 points.
Yeah. No. I know. But like, of
Now,
course, it's more
granted-
surprising.
Granted, you guys do have 8 games in hand and only have a 7-point lead.
Yeah, but also, like, we are not that good. Like, do you see our team? We have Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah, but like Dougie Hamilton was like a better signing than PK.
Yeah, but we still have Subban. So it doesn't matter.
Trust me, I know. And that I'm sure bothers you every day.
Like,
But
it's not it.
In hindsight, or not hindsight, in perspective, you could say that you guys are like in fifth place for the Metro. Because everybody who isn't the Islanders that isn't in the top 4 has the same amount of points.
Yeah, but like, I mean, we've been doing better in the past few games. Now we have a COVID outbreak, so I don't know how things are gonna go. So, yeah.
Okay, I will also say this. I know that I said that the Devils have 8 games in hand. Even if they were tied, they'd have more goals by a substantial amount than the Islanders.
Yeah.
Devils have 105 goals for.
Yeah.
And the Islanders have 64.
Yes, exactly. It's like they're down bad, okay?
I want to see here because
And the
they have
Devils' issue is
the least amount of goals scored in the league.
yeah, but the Devils' issue is more that their defense can't help the goaltenders, and the goaltenders are having trouble because of that. Like, we're letting through too many shots. There are some periods I look and we have like 15 shots allowed, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Now, the Islanders, for perspective, were far from last in goals scored last year. They're far from not last this year.
It's bad. They're down bad.
And I am surprised at the Florida Panthers. I know they made all the splash signings last year, or not last year, but 2 years ago.
I mean,
But for them to
I
still
think.
be relatively decent,
See, I kind of like that the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay are both pretty good.
yeah. But you understand, traditionally speaking, the Florida Panthers' ceiling was always third in their division,
Yeah.
make the playoffs, lose in the first round,
Right.
and then suck the next 3 years.
Yep. But it's
So
good
for
to.
them,
I like it because I don't know. It's just something you don't see.
I like it, but at the same time, I also don't like one of the larger salary caps being the Florida Panthers, which you know is a wasted investment.
Hey, whatever they want to do. Okay.
I guess. I mean, Sunrise, Florida is a shit
All
show.
right, and Seattle is trending further to the 0% possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
we took one look at the team and we said, "That," like like scolding a dog who like shit in the house. Like you just knew that that one was not a good idea.
Yeah.
That team, and poor Philip Grubauer, who's not having a great year, but like if you saw what was in front of him, you would basically be like, "Wow, it's Jordan
Um,
Eberle and nobody else."
how surprised are you that the Hurricane and the Avalanche currently have the same percentage chance to win the cup?
It's like my natural catastrophes to have the same chance. That's good. You gotta admit that was right off the top of the brain.
Oh yeah, that was good. But like
All right.
seriously, like
I mean, of the two teams, which do you actually think has a chance? Because the Avalanche have been like
oh, I don't
the
know.
most
I really
solid.
think that you should put more faith in like Tampa Bay to be
Everybody else.
back
Yeah.
or
Because like the Avalanche of the two teams have had the more they've brought back more of the team over the past few years and like have made the conference finals. Whereas the Hurricanes made the conference finals in a year that they probably shouldn't have.
yep.
And they built a culture, but at the same time, do you really take them seriously? They still have no goaltending.
No, but I'm saying that like I don't mind them having a like 8, 9% or I think that's a little too
Well,
high.
you
But if they put them
there,
at 8 and you know
I'd say there's a 60% chance they're not even the Metro team that shows up in the conference final.
I know that's my point.
Whereas Colorado, I can see Colorado, moving the nail a little bit
Yeah,
and doing a
yeah,
little bit more with it.
I agree with that. But I still think like you still have like Calgary who's doing pretty well, Vegas,
It,
and
it it's weird that Calgary is still good because when they got rid of Giordano, that was supposed to be like the beginning of the rebuild.
the end.
They're just still here.
Yeah. So that was more my point. Like I do agree that I think the Avalanche have the best shot out of any team in their division,
Hmm.
but I think you still got to look out for Calgary and Vegas.
Yeah, you would prefer not to though.
Yeah, and then
And
with the Hurricane, I can assure you, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Penguins or the Capitals as the Metro team.
just like I wouldn't be surprised if the Blackhawks moves to try to be competitive again and make one last run with Taves and Kane has been a total shit show
Yeah, there's no
because
way.
yeah. Now I see why Fleury didn't want to play for them. He basically had to be baited out after
Yeah.
the trade.
All right.
He,
And let's take a look at what's coming up next for the podcast.
really wish I could do that movie theater coming soon sound. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So we will have our college March Madness bracket in about 2 months,
And
maybe six
eventually,
weeks, just before March Madness actually happened.
well, we'll probably start in like 3 weeks because we're gonna have to get out in front of college basketball this year. It didn't really make sense that we were kind of doing it as teams were already clinching conferences this year.
Yeah.
So we're now in 2022 trying to. Our New Year's resolution is to be better.
Yep.
And
So,
it's
and
such
we're
a
gonna try one for the NBA playoffs also this year.
Yeah, because and we were talking about this in pre-production too. Uh, it would make more sense for the comedic relief to do an NBA one while a team like the Sacramento Kings and New Orleans Pelicans haven't been eliminated yet.
Yep, definitely.
Because just seeing the Sacramento Kings grab a 1 seed would be a highlight that might end up ending up on their Twitter feed. So it would just be a nice departure for them.
Yep. All right. So last things we have is about the Olympics. So as we know, they're going on in Beijing in China. So
Yeah.
um, Beijing is basically, or China is basically sealing off the whole Olympic area just so the Winter Olympics can go ahead.
They're gonna bubble the Olympics, which seems like
And I think it's a pretty aggressive, like nobody in or out bubble.
which is okay. It works and it doesn't work because nobody in or out works if everybody in doesn't have COVID.
Yes.
It doesn't work if I don't know, and correct me if you're wrong, you have over 100 countries sending athletes from all over the world in. And then on top of that you have coaching staff,
Trainers.
stuff. And in which case it's far more likely that an outbreak is gonna happen.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean there's a bunch of other things they could do, like, you know.
Yeah. Although
Tests
it did work for the NBA.
tests
It
only
did
go so
work
far
for the
too.
It did work for the NBA, and all those players who went into the bubble were coming from different cities. But it's a little bit different in terms of how cases are being reported around the world.
Yep.
Because you told me China and Beijing are saying that they're not reporting any positives. There's a North Korea that you said.
I'm pretty sure like North Korea was that one. Because
Okay,
they're the ones
so
that aren't going, right?
right, and that's the other thing is the fact that North Korea was saying that Beijing has the COVID problem, so North Korea is not going. And that North Korea also said that Beijing was being hostile, which is its own thing that neither Sean or I really want to get into for the
Yeah.
security and safety of people around us. But yeah, just take that for whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, so I mean I think the Olympics are kind of like you can't just cancel the whole Olympics, I don't think. So they're kind of needed, but at the same time it's like such a huge gathering that something's going to go wrong.
It's normally a huge gathering, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have anything to wrap us up with?
No, I'm not really sure what else to say. We'll be back with some new episodes soon. I think for 2022. I think we're on our second episode in the past month.
Yep. All right.
We're,
So yeah,
we're starting to ramp back up.
thanks for tuning in and catch you next time.